think I'm suddenly very much taller than you. It's Kelsey at the movies, yay!
We went and saw Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
So fast and so furious.
So Fast and Furious has had many installments. You probably remember the beginning of this franchise, which involved Vin Diesel and the now deceased Paul Walker. And it was, I don't know, I guess it had an audience of people that liked
Definitely had an
fast
audience.
cars, sexy women, and like, you know, I don't know, like criminal activities and heroes that have to save the world from criminal activities.
It's a popular like action / racing franchise that has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Some of the characters later that came about in that storyline are Hobbs and Shaw, played by The Rock
and
Jason Statham. And so this is like a spin-off, if you will.
It is. So hence, it's not like Fast and Furious 80
14
or whatever it is. It's Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And so this was just a setup for them to
make a movie.
Be like save the world again. I can't speak a lot to it. I've probably seen one Fast and Furious movie, and it was when I was in high school.
I've seen like 3.5 of them.
And yeah,
probably.
So essentially you have Hobbs and Shaw. They are set up by the CIA and MI6 to save the world from a deadly virus. And that's the setup. There you go. They don't like each other. So Kelsey, go wait or skip.
I'm going to say wait to see this movie. Definitely wait. I say wait because I'm a man and because this movie is obviously geared toward men. It's by men and for men. And so I enjoyed watching it. I like action flicks. I like Jason Statham. Love The Rock. So I like seeing this movie. You know, I'm not going to tell you to go see it because it's not like a great movie. It's not terrible. So I'm going to say just wait for that sucker. And then also, probably by the way I've described it, you can determine what you should do.
I'm going to say skip this movie. So I also like The Rock. I think I like Jason Statham. I haven't seen like all his movies, but like I've liked what I've seen him in. I also like action movies. And this movie was visually done really well. Like the action sequences and stuff I thought were actually pretty good. And the bad guy in the movie is played by Idris Elba. I like him too. And he was, I thought, a great bad guy in this movie. Well, not great. I don't want to say great. He was a pretty good bad guy in this movie. There were some scenes with him on this motorcycle that I thought were really good, like action sequences.
Yeah.
I have to say skip because, like, basically, I woke up today and I felt like, you know, if the day I was born, God created me with this much value, today I had this much value. Like, that's the only way I can explain it. I felt like
that's ridiculous.
My life was worse for having seen this movie,
okay,
and I didn't feel good inside. Like, when we left Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I was like, gosh, that was such a good movie.
I felt enriched.
And, like, even the next day, I was like, man, it's such a good movie, so I still felt good. Today, I was like, oh, why did I see that?
I think the way I described it after we saw it was like, Rachel, this is McDonald's. You know it's not great for you, but, like, it satisfies you. This movie did satisfy the way McDonald's satisfies you. It did. It had like the action sequences were amazing. I know. Do we really get spoilers?
Spoilers.
So here's a spoiler for you. This movie was originally entitled Hobbs and Shaw and McCarson, but they had to pull my part of the story out because I was a little too rough and raw, y'all.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
This movie, like, I didn't particularly like either one of the characters. I found them both to be pretty childish, and the extent to which they took their like disregard and dislike for one another, I thought was excessive, especially in the face of apparently the whole world like about to end. And like that was just prevalent throughout the whole movie, and since they're the main characters, like I just couldn't like get behind that. And then in particular, there was one like scene where they have to like go to this house that apparently has just been, this mansion, been robbed by supermodels. And I thought that was odd. And they were portrayed, like the leader of this supermodel gang was portrayed as being like heartless and really good at what she does. And so then in the next scene, she's like selling them weapons. And what does she do but hold up the weapon and then proceed to point it accidentally, unintentionally at everyone there because she doesn't actually know how to handle weapons. I find that annoying. And they were also dressed in lingerie.
Yeah, that scene was. It just was stupid. Like,
it's
I feel
a
like
hallmark
it was
of the
cast.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, but even then,
franchise.
even in that, Michelle Rodriguez, I think is her name, was in the original Fast and Furious.
Right.
Right, and she was kind of known in real life for being kind of loco. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of fit that role. But this person
was clearly a supermodel.
She clearly,
like they hired
she just
a model.
didn't seem like this is a Russian mobster lady type that is awesome with guns and violence. It didn't seem that way.
Now the girl they cast,
she didn't look like
opposite
Ronda Rousey,
Hobbs and Shaw, which is
she was great.
One of their sisters. Now I've forgotten who's who. Jason Statham's sister.
They were the Shaw family.
Yeah, she was really good, and I thought even because sometimes I don't like when they cast thin, wispy women in these like action roles because I'm like it doesn't match to me. But I thought she sold all of her action well enough that I was like, well, that's somewhat believable to me. Yeah, the movie had a lot of action. I guess it was a storyline. They kind of end. Ryan Reynolds was good in it. I don't know. It was just hard for me. And then I happened to sit next to somebody in the theater that was like, you know, maybe a step above like a primate. It was just a rough go at the movies.
I feel like that colored your experience a little bit though, because I do think that The Rock and Jason Statham had chemistry together. In fact, all three of them.
They do. I just wish I liked one of the characters. Like,
and
I just
then the movie also had like. They tried to inject some heart into the movie, and they did it primarily through The Rock's family scene with his mother and his brother.
Well,
and
I had a big focus on family.
A pretty good job of that.
Sides.
Also like the representation of the Samoan culture. You don't see that a lot in film. I saw my boy Roman Reigns in there from the WWE. He did not have a speaking part, but that's fine, Roman. You're going to get there someday.
Well, unless you count the like...
Yeah, and then... I don't know. I feel like for what this movie was, which is a spin-off of a Fast and Furious franchise, it delivered on its promise of here's going to be a ton of action. You love The Rock and Jason, but I like those characters. Like I thought they were fine. I like the way they played together. I will say that it's not much more together than you saw in the preview, but if you like what you saw in the preview, I think it's there. And yeah, the action sequences were absolutely like ridiculous how they would work.
Oh yeah, that was the other part. Like, so one scene they go off a cliff with a helicopter and a truck that are chained together. They fall into a very, very small body of water where the truck is not even halfway submerged, but yet both Hobbs and Shaw get out of the water as if nothing, like they have not been harmed at all.
You were promised a big battle of villain and the good guys, and you got that at the end. So I feel like it's a solid wait to see this movie, because I feel like it's not. I've seen a lot worse movies than this movie, and I thought that it delivered on what it was supposed to be, which isn't going to be a great film by artistic standards, but in this genre of action movie crazy nonsense, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. I'd rather like see Mission Impossible or like some other action movies than this one. I just couldn't get behind the childish like behavior of both of the main characters, calling each other like names and.
But that happens. That's
like
what
it's very like
often like
juvenile,
very true
and
life.
I prefer The Rock from San Andreas or Skyscraper. Like I want that character. Just not these. Like I just didn't find it.
Yeah, you're not the target audience for this. The target audience is men. It is. This is how guys talk to each other when women aren't around, like Hobbs and Shaw do, basically.
That makes me sad.
I mean, it's not exactly like they had some real heat there, but what's funny is the whole. Did you know about the Fast and Furious thing between Vin Diesel and The Rock? Apparently, maybe this is like based a little bit in true life. There was apparently when they filmed one of the films, there was some heat between the two alpha males there, and I guess The Rock won. Never start some of The Rock that you can't finish.
Thanks for watching Rachelsey at the Movies, and we really appreciate when you like, comment, and subscribe because it helps the channel grow.